And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to part one of the Logic of Sports Betting by Ed Miller and Matthew David Dow. Welcome back, guys, to the Book Club Bros podcast. Book Club, baby. How we
You didn't
doing?
sound confident, but you nailed it.
I did it.
You nailed it
I
though.
sounded. I thought I sounded pretty good
Book
on that.
Club Bros. Maybe you did it intentionally.
But welcome in, guys. If you are new here, this is a book club full of bros and full of books. But without
We're filling them up to 4.
yeah, I know.
Book
Yeah,
4.
five. No, I
Five.
thought it was five.
This is 5.
5?
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4,
I
5.
can't even keep track of all these books.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm pointing down at your stack.
that's
Yeah,
smart. That's good.
I didn't
That's
know
a
where
good
you
way to keep track.
pointed over there though.
Up to the last.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here we
There-
go.
But yeah,
What a
let's
great intro.
let's dive right into it, guys. So, how'd you like the very first section?
So I'll open it up since it is the book that I chose. So part of the reason that I chose it was I wanted to see not only how to because it's not only how to become a better bettor, a better bettor,
I like
if
that.
if you want to do that, but also just like the nature of it, the business. How does it work? Because it's funneling so much money for all of these organizations. Like, what is the nature of it that's allowing this to go on? Like, it's now legal. It's always been legal, but now it's like mostly legal, or it's legal in a lot of states. So like, what is the premise and like what's some of the background? I know it started off with like more of some of the um, like number crunching, but I thought the intro, I think we all read that, but the first line was awesome. I think it said, if you can't spot the sucker in your first half hour at the table, you are the sucker. And that's kind of why I wanted to read this, just so I'm not like the person who just wants to talk about like betting that like it's so mainstream now
Mm-hmm.
that like you can really like anyone can talk about betting, because I mean if there's a bunch of bad bettors out there that these people are all making money off of, if you're betting you just have money to lose, you're probably not winning that much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually really did like the introduction as well, just because it kind of gave you a comparison between like poker and like some of the other gambling that you can do, and like what the pros basically of like why you can stick with, sports betting. And it's actually, there's not like, if you know what you're doing, there's not much to like luck. Rarely is it luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me see, when's my first highlight. I didn't have anything until page 18. So does anyone have anything before that?
Don't.
I
'Cause it starts
actually
off-
highlighted something on 9 just because it was like it's since it's our start for the book, it's kind of like the premise of it. It says like, finally a caveat, this book is about the logic of sports betting. It's not a guide to becoming a professional sports bettor, and in particular there is one key area of professional betting I don't cover: data analytics and modeling. It's possible to win a little. He talks about it a little bit more, but basically I circled that and said that's why I chose this book, is he's not going to go into the data analytics and the modeling and the how to like make $1 million off betting if you bet smartly and the stuff like that. It's more about like how to bet, how to not be the sucker. Like,
Right.
at least you can learn a little bit and be smarter than 90% of people. But to get to 93, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Is how I
Yeah.
kind of see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, starting off, man, this book just kind of rocked you, and like,
Straight to break even percentages.
holy
and-
moly,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Well, before, I think that's where my highlights start, but did you guys have anything for sports betting as a multiplayer game, or anything about that?
No, but I thought that was very interesting. Like that's a great perspective to look at it. 'Cause you most of the time, I don't know what apps you guys have used or like what you've seen, but most of the time you're on there and you're placing your bets, and it's like, okay, you would think it's me versus the game, but in reality it's like you versus the books and like whoever is setting the numbers and doing all the research. So it's so much more behind it than you just, oh, I'm going to pick this person to do this tonight, or I'm going to pick this team to win. Like there's just so much more behind it.
It's such a great point too, because it was actually something he said in the intro. Like, whenever you're betting, like I feel like the typical way to look at it, or how I used to look at it, was like, oh, this is like a great value. Like, this one's obvious. Like, obviously you choose this one. And then you read this and it says you're playing against a game against other people who are actively trying to beat you. They want you to choose that one because because there's only two possible outcomes. That's what makes it. He talks about it more about it being a zero sum game, when it's win everything or lose everything, like you don't get to partially whatever you put in for your bet, like you either get that back and more or it's all gone.
Yeah.
So it's like a zero sum game. So like it's just someone's trying to take your money and you're trying to take money for just clicking a button and they're trying to just take your hard earned money. So it's
Yeah.
like it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I wanted to read this.
All right, diving into the next section, break-even percentages. Now, all right, this threw me for a loop. I could not wrap my head around break-even percentages. So
Yeah.
it explains in the first or second paragraph, a break-even percentage, alternatively called implied odds, is the percentage of a time a bet must win for you to neither win nor lose money, making the bet over time. And it gave you an example. It said if someone offers you a 5-to-1 odds that a 6-sided die will land 1, you have a 16.7% break-even percentage, and that also happens to be how often that the bet will win. And I read that over and over and over again, and I could not get it in my head. Landon, do you understand break-even percentages at all?
I mean, it seems more. I think you might be trying to overcomplicate it, but I feel like it's just.
I didn't know where he got that percentage at all.
So wait. The break-even percentage. I understand where he
so-
was getting the odds.
Yeah.
So do you know very much about sports betting and stuff like that? Because I don't necessarily either, but I figured.
A little
You-
bit.
I mean,
I'm
So
familiar.
just as far as like the numbers and stuff like that, I understand how you understand how he was getting the numbers for the formula. You just don't understand what it actually means.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise I was like, I mean it's a confusing concept,
Is it?
except that if it is law, that's what's more important. Because I think he actually even goes on to say that where he's like, even if you like if you're trying to do all this stuff, just calculate the break-even percentage first, and like if it's something way off, then
Right.
then it's obviously going to be something that you may want to stay away of or something like that. I mean, it's a lot. It's one of those things where we're not going to class Monday to Friday and learning about it anymore. So it's whenever you're trying to read and move on to the next page and stuff like that, it's hard to fully absorb.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand how to calculate it and stuff like that. But I mean, it seems like the break-even percentage just tells you what your lowest risk is, because whenever you factor it, it's risk divided by risk plus win. So it has to do with whatever the best odd is. The problem with that is in betting, you can bet the best odd every time and it may not win.
Yeah.
So I think
the
that's
best
part of
chance
it. So
to
I
win.
think it's more so as like groundwork for betting, like the blueprint, but it's like the bet says this, but this person has a cold this week and this person just sprained their
Right.
ankle, so I'm going to lean this way, even though, like, I don't know, that's kind of the way I view it, but I don't know, we'll
Gotcha.
either get called out in the comments or not.
But all right, yeah. So that threw me for the loop, and then I thought it was pretty interesting seeing how like the odds were listed, like American versus
Yeah.
for everywhere else, where like the plus 100, minus 100. I finally get that. Like I never really truly understood
It's cool. I get it now too.
I got the plus. I always understood the plus, but I never understood the minus. But
Well,
that makes more sense now.
I always understood both sides of the coin, but I like how he like literally equates it to like minus being the underdog or the favorite and the
Yeah.
positive being like just whenever you can actually see it and
Yeah.
how like the money relates. And then I thought it was actually kind of funny how of course like the United States is the only people that don't use a decimal system
Right.
Yeah.
like everyone else.
And we
like
go with 100.
yeah, we go with the
dollar.
100. They're like
what?
centimeters, Celsius. Like
Yeah.
United States is always just like different.
Yeah,
like whenever
it was
it
like
comes to
$100.
calculations.
I was like, why? Why did he do that?
I thought that was weird. I had a highlight on 27. I don't know if anyone has something before that.
I just really like
Shoot.
highlighted on formulas like and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I have a few things.
I was
Um,
really just trying to get a grasp of
Get a
it
grasp
as
of
I'm
it. Yeah.
reading.
Just like
Um,
understanding that you got to convert everything to break
Yeah.
even percentages, then you can judge on which a fair price or not.
Yeah, but apparently, if you learn that like quick and you're able to, give rough estimates on your break even, like that's one of the biggest keys
Yeah.
to being able to find a good bet.
And I think that's what people do because you have to if you're a good bettor you have to show like this is what I am against the spread, this is
Yeah.
what I am against this and stuff like that, because that's what I'm saying, everyone's going to say they're a good bettor until like you have to show something.
Right.
And that's actually kind of what I
Right.
highlighted on page 27. So like midway through it, it says, but what this means is if you throw darts at sports bets, it's not a great gambling game. You're going to lose a pretty healthy clip. The saving grace, and it is a big one, is that sports betting is a multiplayer game. And if you play much better than everyone else, including the sportsbook employees, it's possible to nullify the hold and get the edge on your side. And this is when he just finished talking about the hold, but I actually just highlighted because it was what we were reading before that in the context of like everyone's a betting expert is basically kind of like the way that I feel about anyone that talks about betting is just everyone's gonna like who says like I suck at sports betting or like
Right.
I'm not good. I was like, this is a good bet. Even if you're a bad bettor, they're gonna say this is a great bet. If you're a
Yeah.
bad bettor, it automatically makes it not a great bet coming from you. So it's like that's one of the main things that I was like trying to take away from this is it's not random. Like you can't just look at it. I think he talks about it a little bit later, but like you can't just okay, the Chiefs play tonight. I'm gonna pick this. The opening lines came out and like wherever it's at right before the game starts or a couple days before is like after like all the great value's been taken
Right.
and it flatlines.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool to see. But
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, to me, honestly, like reading up to like, I think the first 30 pages or whatever
grind.
was a grind and made me even more intimidated to be like, all right, this
You
is
gotta
not
know.
this is not the world for me. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be ever making money because that just like overwhelmed me.
Dude,
get
that's so true. Like that's
Yeah.
how I feel about like investing and not necessarily just investing, but when it comes to like trading stocks and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like I would have to know someone because there's too much going on or real estate. Like I have to know someone because there's too much and I know that you can get your real estate, license online.
Yeah.
So I know that you could do it. It's just too much for me to want to go and do. So like
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely I could definitely see that though.
Yeah, and then it was just like getting even more complicated when you was talking about parlays.
Oh, so you don't get parlays? I love parlays.
Yeah, parlays
I
are great.
I get parlays,
Yeah.
but
It's not as
Um,
bad. I don't
yeah.
think it wasn't as like daunting as like the other stuff. I really
And-
think it's just the numbers thing.
And
Yeah.
honestly, dude, I'm not gonna lie. You almost need a few people to have like watched explain it a little bit because I watched the whole like this podcast that I watched. It did a gambling show every Sunday for NFL season, and they just like bet on 7 games,
yeah,
talk about the plus minus, and it gave me a rough idea. I told you guys off the pod, but I was like, I still like at the end of that, I still didn't really know what plus and minus meant.
yeah,
Like I knew that one of them was a favorite, but if you said plus 300 are they the underdog or the favorite, I'm like, I don't know, I'll just pick one.
yeah,
Like but now I feel like I'm starting to get it with parlays. The way that they describe this, I was like, I'm glad I know what this is, because this is a little bit confusing to try and read. It's
Yeah.
easier to explain
Yeah.
and understand than it is to try and like read. It's like I don't know what they're trying to necessarily say here, but I know what they mean
yeah,
based off of what they're doing.
yeah. No, I know what parlays mean, like in general, like how it's just like if this happens, that happens, and then
Mhm.
it's a chain.
Yeah.
And then, but it was just like this seeing the odds. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys will see it, but like that chart of
Mhm.
like everything, the number of legs for a parlay to happen was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, the break even.
Dude, but that everyone knows parlays because like they're the
Oh,
the
yeah.
$1.
The
I picked all 15 games
Right.
today for the NFL, and I got and
Yeah.
it's like the last 2 games. It's
$1,400.
like $1 pays out like 200,000, could win $1 million. It's just like crazy
Yeah.
stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's
But,
a crazy world for gambling out there for sure.
But I mean, I
Mhm.
guess, I mean, if you know the odds and stuff like that, and you actually truly know, and you ran your numbers, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But
Honestly, I highlighted something on 38 about parlays, and I thought I said over the course of the 8 bets, you haven't bet just $80. You've actually bet 229, and that 229 total bet, you lose 10, which is about a 4.4% hold. I thought that kind of crystallized it a little bit, but he said parlays don't hold more; they make you bet more money.
Yeah.
So like parlays I thought it was cool to see it compound. Like if you bet 10, and then it showed you all the different ways your money works. Like if you lose, win, it doesn't matter because
Yeah,
you lost.
yeah.
If you lose, win,
Yeah.
win. If you lose, win, doesn't matter because you lost. If you win, lose, win, you just bet the 10. If you win, lose, you bet whatever the 10 is that compounded, and then you still lost it. And I thought that was just kind of cool to see, like what the money was doing in the background of a parlay.
yeah,
Interesting.
it's super interesting stuff. Moving on to the section of market making.
This was pretty interesting.
like
This is
Yeah.
where I was like, he literally starts it off too.
Yeah.
You know, okay, we're done for now with the nuts and bolts with
I
the
know.
math stuff.
Dude, that was a breath of fresh
And
air.
yeah, I was so happy about that. But yeah, what do you guys
Coming
thoughts?
from the math guy too. What in the world?
I
It's a
don't-
good thing I
mean,
picked this book.
Yeah,
I'd have been
this
struggling
was
if you did.
yeah. But yeah, starting.
It's also early on in the book where
Yeah.
you're just dealing with all the numbers.
Yeah, they just flooded us with it.
It's a. I don't know. Would you rather it be reversed though? You want those numbers at the end. You need the numbers to know what you're talking about
I
throughout
don't
the
know.
rest of the
I
book.
think it was like in an ease. Like I don't think it was really like eased in. Like to me, I feel like he could have warmed us up with maybe the market making or something, and then he's like, "All right."
So
this
you
is,
could
like,
it could have been
actually-
like at the back half of our first section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
because I
get it.
mean, it was just like off the rip.
It was. It was. The introduction was pretty solid though, so you got to give
Yeah,
him credit for that.
exactly. I
At
guess
least they
maybe
gave
that was the warm up, but all right. So for the market making section, what do you guys think about that? Like, kind of learning more about the sports books and like who picks the lines and stuff. Like why was Xavier should be negative 2.5 against
Yeah.
Creighton and stuff.
Dude, this is why I chose the book.
Yeah.
It's like
that was
basically
good.
for this section, just because I was curious, like what are these numbers? Like I feel like it's one of those things that just annoys me. Like I've never asked anyone, but it's like, what are these numbers? How are they, like who gets to pick this? Like I understand that like whenever the Warriors are favored against the like Detroit Pistons, I get
Yeah.
like yeah no, that makes sense. Why are they favored by 2.5 points?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, so I mean, that's what was super curious to me. I thought it was hilarious. I highlighted it on page 42 where he was just going super nerd, super nerd, super nerd,
Yeah.
just everywhere for the formula. But I thought it was cool. He said there's 3 ways that the lines get made. He gave you the process of like small army of super nerds that do like the digging and the stuff like that, and then they copy from other sports books, and then the price discovery. So like it's like slowly they take the lid off, like it's like very very closed, then the copying, and then once it's price discovery, everyone's got access to it. But I thought it was a really really solid chapter.
Yeah, no,
section.
I actually like this one a little bit more because it wasn't the super math calculation on like which one to pick, but yeah, the like kind of business side of it. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I didn't have anything about it in regards to highlights though. I did think it was pretty interesting that like basically there's probably like the big sports books like Caesar's Palace, FanDuel, like those guys probably have the super nerds, and then it's just like all those other sub-markets just copy them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting to see because something else I thought was crazy on page 44, like the example that they use about the gold. Dude, that's such an interesting thing to think about. What did you relate to? Well, I mean, because what side do you more go with? So the story lays out. We'll just go quick with it. I'm trying to sell you. We'll even make it about a book. I'm trying to sell you this book for $10
Yeah.
because it retails for $10, and you forget your wallet. So you're like, I'll pay you tomorrow. I come back, the book's on sale now for $7.50, and you're like, I want to get it for $7.50. I'm like, you would have paid me $10 yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you say? Do you have to default to market value, or do you have any type of? Does it depend on your relationship with the person, on if you really committed to paying the 10? If you never technically said it, I just told you I was going to buy the book and never said I was going to buy it for 10. That's just what it was yesterday. Like, gray area.
I think it depends on the price it changed,
That's yeah. What was
If
it? I
it
think it
is-
was like $300, right? It was $500
Yeah.
about.
I think,
It was
yeah,
in this one.
$500 is that's quite the steep discount.
yeah.
So I think you'd
So
have to
that's how
honor
you'd
that.
measure it then.
Yeah,
It basically
like
would be
10,
the
10 to
difference.
7. It's like, all right, $3. Like I'll honor the 10, even though it's on sale for 7.
But if it was like 100, what about like 1,000 to 900? Like it's on $100 off. Like where's the?
yeah,
That's what I'm trying to figure
it's
out. Like what is it? $10? Is it 50?
Probably anything under 100.
Anything under 100?
Yeah.
I'd say even 50.
It's great. I just
Yeah.
thought it was an interesting like example of how the market works.
Yeah,
And it says who's right, who's fair. Like it basically is like there's no like in the game of life you're just all playing. Like
Yeah.
it's all a game.
I think it's so interesting too on like, I don't know if it mentioned in this section, but like how the lines move
Mhm.
like so quickly and so
Oh my gosh.
rapidly.
And how they can take bets in, but choose to keep it or choose to accept it or not.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then if you don't move the line enough, then it can somehow jam up the book because they fielded all these bets they thought were going to be good. That like that's what made it like wow.
Yeah.
That's what made it like very intriguing to me about like how because it's so high risk. That's why the word risk is everywhere
Yeah.
in this book. Like it's so high risk, so that's why it's like I feel like betting for me when I get to that point would be for pure fun, like with money that I can allocate to it, and if I run out, I'll reset my funds next month, like whatever I can afford. Because if you don't like, it's so risky. We've talked about it at the gas station. Like you play lotto scratch, you feel like I gotta go. That next one's gotta hit.
Yeah.
I gotta get one more, even if it's just to get $10 back. I gotta get one more card,
Yeah.
and then it only gets you 5, and then you're like, oh my, well the next one's got to be 10. Then there's not two $5 winners in a row,
Right.
and then you're just like,
Then you're down bad.
dude, you're down so bad.
But
And
yeah, no, I thought that was really interesting. And then like yeah, and then there was a whole like the information game on it, just like moving through, like
oh, they actually
figuring out the
Go ahead.
actual customer who's bidding, and like determining the lines off of that. Like, all right, we have a lot of Alabama fans, so we're gonna adjust that line because they're gonna be betting heavy on Alabama.
Right.
That's how they know. That's what's so cool. And I think that's what allows for there to be so many, because there's like so many ways you can gamble, like so many different people that have their sites and stuff like that. Because it talks about, this sports book might be an NFL gambling book or whatever, or like Prize Picks is very into NBA and stuff like that. So they're not going to get like the best numbers for football. So if they have a football thing, they'll just take it from NFLgambling.com
Yeah.
or like whatever it is, and just be able to like bounce it off of each other in those ways.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you were just to kind of go back on it real quick. You were talking about how the money moved, and on page 48, since we're almost done with our section, it says the game opened up -6, but now it's all the way down to -3.5, as sharp money is absolutely pounding the game. Well, not necessarily. The opener may have been -6 because that's whoever did 30 seconds of math and opened the market and threw it up. It may have moved because a handful of guys with spreadsheets mashing the refresh button bet $100 to $300 at the time to move it there. That sharp money pounding the game could be less than a few $1,000s in total volume. And I just highlighted that, and I just put down smoke and mirrors. Like, the whole thing is like, you're never going to, if you want to know, you have to be on the inside. Otherwise, you have to do some type of research and just bet. That's why it's a bet. Like, I bet that this is going to happen, just because I think that that's not going to happen.
I do
And
think
that's what
it's
makes
a
it
little
interesting.
unfair though. Like I don't know if it's said in here,
I
but
think-
like
Good.
when the certain odds are placed when you bet something, do those odds get locked in for you?
Yes. So that's what's so cool about gambling is like, the guy that kind of introduced me to it. He's like, I got this at this number. That's great value. If you don't hurry up, tomorrow it's gonna drop down more. So like, if I'm getting
Gotcha.
so like whenever
gonna
a
say,
line,
that'd
that's
be
so that and that's
so
gonna help you
unfair.
understand it a little more. So like when the line opens, it's basically the way they said it is just zero. It's like they'll open a line. He said it early on for Alabama, he would put them at a pick 'em.
Yeah.
And obviously we know that now. So like the more you, if you give people a pick 'em, it's like I'll put $1 million on Alabama versus Tulane,
Yeah.
and because it's like
The
a
odds.
pick 'em.
Right.
If it's like 10 to 1, 50 to 1, or something like that, you're like, okay, well now I got to bet. I thought that was a cool part too. How what that means is if it's -100, you have to bet 100 to win
100.
2.
Yeah.
But if it's plus 100, you have to bet 100 to win 100.
Yeah.
So plus you just get the money, minus you get your money back that you bet, plus whatever the minus is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like how like those numbers aren't for us. That's like actual values. So if it's plus 100 and you bet 1,000, then you just get 1,000 back, or you get like you just add the 0 to it. Because 1,100. So
I was gonna say
Yeah.
1,000 to win 1,000. I was like, wow.
but like that, I thought that was cool how like the values kind of work that way for the odds. But no, there's a lot of stuff that it just kind of breaks down, that just clears up so much.
Yeah, it was definitely like very informational, like this first portion. I honestly didn't have too many highlights though. And then it goes into the sports book business models on 52. But was there anything that you guys want to mention before we kind of move on to that section?
Actually, just last thing, I highlighted this because I thought it was funny, or actually it was more. I put like this is funny slash kind of creepy how they do like their player profiling.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's the first way that market makers leverage information. They go through all the customers, betting history, literally every customer, and try to draw conclusions about the player. The nature, the conditions can vary, obviously, but for the most part, it boils down to how sharp is this person. And it just made me think, man, how embarrassing. Like, would it be if you like don't know? You don't know because it's their rank that they have for you.
Oh yeah.
And like you're just like talking all this game and you're a 1.
Yeah.
You're a 1 star. And they got 5 stars. And it's just I just thought that's so interesting how they can like trace all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're hitting accept or agree or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that they can quantify like your habits
Yeah.
down to a, actual numerical value and be like, oh yeah, every time he sees an Alabama pick that's on, that's negative 110, it's an instant buy. He'll throw 100 on it all day.
It's a weird thing that we can track now.
Yeah.
Like we can track
Like human
sleep
behavior.
patterns, we can track
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everything now. So it's like yeah, no, they're starting to figure us out.
Yeah. Moving on to the other section, kind of like the end of our section for the reading,
Yep.
was the sportsbook business models portion. You guys have anything about that? I actually did think it was pretty interesting about the fee, about how because these sports books are betting on the sports, that the actual sports commission, the NFL, MLB,
Oh
and
my,
stuff
so many
get
so
a
many-
percentage of the revenue.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And like how there was that overrule from I think was it the Supreme Court that overruled it?
Yeah.
That the
Came down in 2018 that they removed restrictions on the U.S. sports betting.
yeah, because there was a federal thing where like the sports books had to pay like a tax of
1% integrity fee.
Integrity fee.
Yeah.
no that's what the leagues are asking for. I think it was only 0.25
All
for
the
the federal.
leagues, all the leagues were
Yeah.
asking for a 1%
yeah, yeah.
integrity fee.
Yeah.
0.25.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Point. It was so it went from
Bro, that- I feel
0.25
like-
to 1%.
It makes me wonder like why I didn't just ask for more sometimes in life. It's like, can I get 1%? It's where he was just like, can I get 1% of, Inter Miami, or maybe I can get a percentage of like a sports club whenever you come over, and if it's gonna make Messi millions, it's gonna make
That's all it takes.
Michael Jordan's made him millions to billions. Like
Just a
Yeah.
couple percent. That's all you need,
Yep.
who would've thought?
apparently. But yeah, no, I thought that was bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you, buddy.
But yeah, I thought that part was really interesting. Just like hearing the that type of like what it was going through and like how huge it was for the sports books to get that 0.25 lifted off, and then because it makes sense because if the hold is basically the percentage that the sports books are making, right? Is what it was kind of
seemed like.
determined, and that was like, all of them were less than usually less than 5%. So if 1% of that, 20% of your entire business revenue is going to it's just cut just like that, just
Yeah.
for the leagues. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. I mean, that's so much.
Yeah.
It is.
It's so
If
much.
you're only making 5% and 1% of that already goes.
I know, because they were like, you
Holy
gotta
moly.
pay a fee for the people who are doing the data collecting, and you got to be able to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Like they gave you the list of fee of like it's not like a super long list, but whatever you're paying for, I feel like it's expensive.
Oh, the
Like every-
advertising, the
yeah,
promotions. Yeah, they have all the, FanDuel all the time. Bet 5 win or
Right.
what
right.
free 250 on us or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I'm like,
so much money
man,
in it.
so much money, but like it's so little profit margins. Like
Yeah.
it's just rapid fire.
That's what I thought. Too. Like,
Volume.
the profit margin is crazy.
But that's all. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Right.
So here, let
And
me.
then stopped at the retail
Yeah, that was
sportsbooks.
basically the end of the reading section. So I had one more highlight since we're basically wrapping it up here. So I highlighted the house always wins just isn't true in sports betting. Sorry, this is on page 54. As it described in the market making chapter, writing a certain number of bad for the sportsbook bets is just part of the market making process. Those bets cost the book money, and if the book doesn't make the markets intelligent enough, i.e. profile customers poorly, moves too much on action, moves too little on action, moves too much on the wrong action, stuff like that, the market making book will offer too many soft bets to the customers at limits that are too high, and they will get beat. So I just thought that like this, for me, I highlight on the side, it's not a fair game, but you're not set up to fail everywhere. Like he'll highlight like, look, the best, the market making where the market makers, and then the whatever the section was is just beneath that. They're going to be more intelligent books because they're getting the lines directly. They have more of a feel on the games. But there are sports books out there that just have bad lines.
Yeah.
Like if you can look at if you get one number here and one number there, like bet the better.
Right.
Like
lock it in.
someone's like they're not monitoring everything. Basically, sports books makes mistakes as well.
Yeah.
Like they don't always have the best pulse on other stuff, and they'll give you bad sports bets and stuff, or like things that can get beat. So I thought that was like a decent point.
Yeah, and I think that's where it kind of like overall I think that's the main message that they kind of wanted to get in this first section was just like it's not an actual gamble. It's like everyone is betting on this, like, or they're taking numbers on this certain outcome. And even the people that are hosting and like collecting all the numbers and stuff like that, like they don't even truly know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely true. What happened, I think the first section of this book for me, what it really brought to like my attention was in the beginning, like whenever you're betting on sports, the numbers and like everything that you're seeing is like the toughest possible one. So if you want to get better, you just have to look a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's almost not scary, but like crazy to think they're putting the worst possible numbers on blast to get the most amount of people to see them and bet on those numbers. So you just get sucker bets coming in like crazy, making so much money. Like all these people that can afford to bet that and think it's a good idea. No one's telling you to bet it. If you can bet it, you can bet it.
So,
But like whenever they're presenting it, like, the Chiefs are minus da-da-da, the best possible time to bet the Chiefs versus whatever would be in that opening
Right,
time.
as
And the
soon as
smart
they
sports
open
bettors
it.
know that. Like, I feel like you don't have to be that smart. You just have to be on time to a certain degree. You have to also have a feel for it, but it's almost like you can't show up for a sneakers drop at 10:30 and think the Jordan 1s are still going to be there.
Yeah.
You got to be waiting in line at 10 o'clock, and once you hit add to cart, checkout,
yeah,
waiting,
Apple
waiting,
Pay,
it'll pick
boom,
your thing, Apple
Yeah.
Pay.
have it all prepped.
So that's how I look at it. Like sports betting, the sooner you get in, the better we're all betting, but it's the most risk, and the sooner you get in, you can eliminate some of the risk,
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's
the variance.
for sure. I would agree. It's like early the better. If you can detect those flaws and whatever lines that they played,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, you'll be successful.
But I would almost argue that it's almost broadcast to wait as long as possible, because what about injuries? What about this and that? Whenever
Right.
like the real value, like injuries are going to happen. It might happen in the game.
Yeah.
So it's like the real value is when it opens. But if everyone's saying, oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I need to
Yeah,
feel this
'cause,
one
like,
out. I don't know how I feel. I'm going to stuff this one in the corner, and I'll pick that game Sunday morning.
Especially
And it's like,
right, or
this
like if
is-
someone's on IR and they're like, oh, we don't know, it's gonna be day to day for him.
That
Like
part-
KD's like, he tweaked his knee on practice 2 days ago, and you're like,
But
if he comes in,
Right.
but you don't know.
the caveat to that, if you're a smart bettor, don't you just avoid that bet? Not bet that day on him. Bet on someone else.
Very true.
Why bet
I
on
think so.
KD if it's the one thing you're betting on? If he's the determining factor and
I
he's the
agree.
question mark, right? So that's how. But if you're not a smart bettor, you're just like, oh, I woke up planning to bet on Kevin Durant.
Right.
That's what people are gonna do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what I would have done. I woke up betting to
Be
bet
like,
on Kevin
KD
Durant.
would be good.
I don't
Or,
know,
oh,
sure.
KD's injured.
Oh, okay. Now
What?
I'm gonna bet
Yeah.
against him, and then he goes off, and now I'm pissed because I wanted him to go off anyways. And it's
Yeah.
like that's why I have to bet for fun, because I love sports so much it will affect me mentally.
Yeah.
If I have like a Steph, you had to make that shot.
Yeah.
Like I wanted him to make it anyways. So if I almost may choose to bet on exclusively not my teams I like.
What obviously, would you bet on basketball, or would
Oh,
you
yeah.
stay away from it just because of your relationship with it?
If I was betting, I'd probably like just try to be a smart bettor. Like I'd bet the Bucks to just go to town on.
Would you do only team wins, like stuff like that, or would you go like, oh, Steph, goes over
Dude,
30, or would you go over
I
under and
didn't
stuff like that?
Bro.
Dude, I don't know that I
I
ever.
couldn't. I don't think
I
I
don't
could
know-
ever do that.
I don't know about those. Those ones I would do, like the player props. I think it'd be a fun thing. The one thing that I see that Nick Wright does that I haven't really, I can't see myself really loving it, is the futures bets. because like you gotta wait so long. He says it's cool because like you set the bet, it's a season long bet and whatever. But it's like, so the Cardinals were really good last year. St. Louis Cardinals went to
Oh,
the
yeah.
playoffs, had Pujols, all this stuff. Thought we were gonna be signed Wilson Contreras. We are like 30 games under 500 right now and not gonna make the playoffs at all. I would have at least taken my money on a futures bet. Cardinals win the division. Our division's bad.
Yeah.
We're just terrible. So I'm like, Cardinals win the division. Dude, that thing is over in August. They can't win the division. They're out. They're disqualified. That would kill me.
Yeah,
That would
to
just be
have to wait.
frustrating, you
Yeah.
know? Like that bet's already dead. If it's alive, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I don't know if I want to add that type of negativity. Like, it's just weird to, I don't know. It's just a way to think about
It's such
it.
a long play.
It's a long play.
It's a long,
Yeah.
long play.
Yeah.
Such a long play. I'm
Oh,
not, so
yeah.
I'm not
I don't
huge
know.
on
What about-
futures, but like over-unders and stuff like
Did
that.
you do it? I
uh,
could never. I could never. If like
I
Steph's like plus minus 30.
I run the I usually run the parlays with those. So like I'll pick like I don't know, my favorite
You
is
gotta
like
look
the,
at matchups. You can
Yeah.
be smart. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
or like the fantasy points. Like I'll do fantasy points.
Which
Um,
is
It like say LeBron will have 40 plus fantasy points tonight. Are you picking the over or under? Depending on who they're
no
playing.
way. You can bet on the odds of the fantasy.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, because it's
Fantasy
like points, rebounds,
Yep.
assists, and stuff like that. All factors for
That
it.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
That
but
makes
it's a
sense.
weird. It's not like weird, but it's a different way to be able
super
to bet.
weird. It's
Yeah.
super weird to like I guess like put it quantitatively like
Yeah, right.
it's almost like a parlay on itself.
Yeah.
Because you're adding up these total points to a fantasy point.
Bro, yeah, there's this one right now. It's huge. It's called Prize Picks, and it's like you just
For
like,
the NBA?
huh?
What is it
It's
for?
I think it's mostly for NBA, but now they're trying to branch it out because it was it's like sponsored by Paul George's podcast, and it's called Prize Picks, and it's like literally this is the way they break it down. It's not, you're not playing against anyone. It's just you versus the projections available, and all you do is you click on, do you think he's gonna have 7 rebounds, more than 7 rebounds? Click on it. Is Chris Paul gonna have more than 5 assists? Click on it, and it's basically you can win up to 25 times your money, I think it is.
Oh, okay. So it's like
Or
a
something like
kind of
that.
like a glorified
Yeah.
parlay.
Yes, it's essentially what it is. Like,
So they give
it
you
got-
like 7 options.
it's Prize Picks. It's individual people. You can't even do like the Bulls are gonna win tonight.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's not. You can't
Yeah.
even do it. It's all
Yeah.
individual players. Who do you think is gonna do what?
It's the same with
Yeah.
the one I use.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like they don't. It's like, okay, he'll hit 3 threes today, over under. He'll have 15 rebounds today, over under. My favorite person to bet on last season was Jokic though.
Oh, so you actually bet.
Yeah, last year I was Jokic.
money?
I
Cheat
mean,
code.
bro, it wasn't that great. It was not that great. I probably spent for the whole season. I probably spent like $300, and then my return was like probably like $215.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not too
I,
bad.
lo-
of
I
a-
mean, yeah, it wasn't terrible, but it's like
Well, when you're betting on a good bet, you can't make that much.
yeah.
It's like you can't
yeah,
make that much money betting on the Yankees to win the World Series every year, even though they haven't.
right.
It's because they got the most stacked team
Right.
every year.
I don't know. I'd still take those odds
It's
all day.
interesting.
You know, I'd rather just see the wins come in.
That's where it is. But like, there's better. That's what there's.
Yeah.
There's
That'd be my
literally no
type.
two bettors are the same. Like, everyone has a. There are people that will say, I will literally get in a wreck before I will do a parlay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what? He talks about it. He's
Yeah.
like, they're not bad bets. You got to do it. But I won't even do them. I will never make a futures bet. I will never do a prop. I will, like,
Yeah.
it's all, it comes down to preference. Like, it really comes down to what works for you. Does your pregame ritual make you throw 98 and throw strikes, or are you a good player?
Yeah.
It's okay.
And
I
they
mean,
even
I don't knock anyone's stuff now. It's just like we're all like very uniquely different. Even when it comes to betting.
it also just depends too, like on certain apps. Like I know like where like sports betting is like official, like it's like Jersey, Vegas, and all that.
Right.
Like you could use FanDuel, and FanDuel they have money lines.
They
like
do, I know.
they do that, but like the other stuff that you can just like use and bet on, most of them will be the same. It's just like you pick over unders for certain people, like what is this player gonna do tonight. But I think this is gonna be good. Like once sports betting gets like fully like, okay, it's legal completely, we can get on FanDuel, you can look at money lines, you can look at over unders, all that stuff, then it'll be very helpful.
How
Yeah.
how close do you think till we're 100% legal in all 50
Man,
states?
I don't know. I think
Or
if,
here, how about just in Florida?
Man, DeSantis is pushing
It's
on
gotta
that.
be s-
It's weird.
it's gotta
Like
be cool.
we
Like,
should. I mean, people in Florida have been really wanting to get it.
yeah,
to
yeah,
get it
for the
legalized.
longest.
So like, and it's like getting some crazy heavy pushback. I think for a certain reason too. Like, I can't.
I
I
don't know,
can't
man.
remember. I think it has something to do with maybe our demographic and everything. Like just the melting pot of Florida, just like having a lot of.
I think it's like, yeah, it's
It's tough to
there's a
get everyone on
dangerous to
board.
it
Yeah, there's like
because
if no one
people
else is
can
on
get
board,
addicted.
like I would hope that Florida was going to be one of the first ones, but I could also see us being one of the last ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Um,
agree.
depends.
Yeah, it definitely. It
Yeah.
just depends, but the market for it. That's why I wanted to read this because like, I didn't know much. I felt like I was way too interested to not know like really anything about it,
Hmm.
and it's doing so much. Not forget sports, for just literally everything. Hamster racing. Look, there's stuff like it. Just betting on stuff is just it's pumping so much money into that. Honestly, it feels like people that have way too much money. What just came out? You probably saw it. Like Phil Mickelson's gambled like $1 billion
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
his life.
yeah.
Really?
Yes, gambled. He's won a lot. He's lost like what do they say? He's lost like 250 million
Wow.
or something like that. But
That's
he's like
crazy.
won a yeah. So like,
250 million.
I mean,
lost.
do you know the money that's moving around out there? That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
I had never like really taken time to think about some of that.
yeah,
Yeah, bro.
Like
No,
it's
dude,
just
that's-
crazy.
that's some wild stuff. There.
And it's changing. It's allowing all these TV deals. It's allowing Jalen Brown to get 300 million. It's allowing Luca to get 400 million in a couple years when they sign a new TV deal and they have like, I mean, dude, it's real. I know there's other stuff going on, but I almost would say like it's 50% legalizing sports betting and just letting this money just pump through.
Yeah,
And they found a way to like centralize it and probably doing some legal stuff, maybe not, I don't know. But either way, like the sports betting has to account for like a lot of money that's coming through.
Do you think
for sure.
inclusion, like as sports getting gets more and more beneficial, do you think it's gonna be better or worse for the game?
I don't know. It's gonna be
That
tough,
is-
bro.
That's a
'cause,
great question.
yeah, like the psychology behind it is like, okay, once people like start to see everywhere, like, okay, people are betting on me to score 30 tonight. Like, there's a lot of people betting on me to score 30.
Like the
So
players can see their own lines.
yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. So they honestly might be like, okay, look, I'm gonna go for 30, and I'm gonna do it by any means possible. Cause bro,
Oh,
there's
you
just
think it's
so
gonna affect
much.
it? Like ball hog, like bro,
Yeah,
hey,
I-
I need this, man.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
I got a
yeah.
parlay
Dude,
on me. That's crazy.
the
Yeah.
one thing though is like you'll never be allowed to like bet on yourself.
Right, exactly.
Like or within your own league. That's the one thing that I think it has. If that ever changes, there's no way because then
Yeah,
it's
it'd
just
be
like
throwing games. and
yeah,
stuff,
because
yeah.
they're always like people are still getting suspended and stuff like that in the NFL for. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why sports betting is not as new as it feels.
No.
Because how are people still getting in trouble? And how I mean, it's not like I want to sit here and judge, but I'm off that now, and I'm sitting here like I don't know anything about this stuff either. But it's been out there, and we're all talking about it, and we're all. But like, you can't bet from this location, and it's not even legal in this state. And I didn't even know I couldn't bet in general. I thought I couldn't bet on the NFL. I can't do college, or I can't bet in this parking lot, or
Mhm.
and it's like obviously we're at the. I think what are we like maybe 2 steps past the NIL stage. Like we're not in the very beginning of it. We're like college is up in smoke right now over this NIL thing.
Mhm.
Like I feel like that was maybe sports betting a little while ago. We're a little bit out of it, but we don't have like a blueprint for like what it should look like yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
feel
just
like-
curious. I was just curious to see like how that would work.
I mean,
Like as things get more, I feel like people are gonna just see like players even more and more like a product or something like that. Like I don't know how much
Well, the
it's
thing
gonna
is though,
invest
but the
into
thing
it.
is, and that's what's crazy, and he can actually Miguel can attest to this too. Go watch the Tony Donahue the Tony Donaghy or whatever documentary on Netflix where
Yeah.
they talk about like the fact and oh my gosh, I was actually watching a YouTube video about like Michael Jordan's era and stuff like that. And it's just like the NBA. It used to, like, way back in the beginning stages. It was kind of like a clown show. Like there was just a bunch of
Oh,
fights
yeah.
and like it just
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
as organized.
Yeah.
There wasn't they didn't have all the nice money and the facilities and stuff like that. So it kind of had to be. But like once it got bigger, they turned it into more of like an entertainment business. And I was watching this breakdown where, like, eventually the NBA started getting onto us and said we can't foul Michael Jordan. Like we can't hurt him because he's like the best player and he's putting on for the sport and stuff like that. And it made these other players feel a certain type of way. And then you find out that, like, during that period of time in like the 2000s and the late 1990s, like Tim Donaghy is like fixing some of these games in collusion with the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what's the integrity? Like it was a whole big spiel. The refs are supposed to uphold and like call fair fouls, and they're the ones that are poisoning the game and throwing the. So it led to that whole thing. So does more money affect the like
The
integrity of the
results,
game?
Yeah.
Bro, it could.
Because I mean, dude,
What? Don't wait now.
if you threaten someone on their life, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about
Yeah.
I'm a $500,000 in sports gambling debt, and I have to throw this game in order to clear it.
Or I'm
You're
dead.
not gonna do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, however you got there, it's tough. It's very tough. It's a lot of bad decisions in a row.
Yeah.
But like, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna throw the World Series to stay alive. I'm telling you right now. Please don't let me get to that situation. I'm throwing that game.
Oh yeah,
I'm throwing that
100%,
game,
bro. To stay
My
alive.
family, that's what this stuff is. That's where I like can really relate it. I'm not someone who's gonna be like, oh, the dude's so soft. No, I'm not. No, bro, it's his life, and he's got kids and stuff. Like
But
legitimately,
it will
whenever
never
it
come
com-
out.
Huh?
It will never come out though.
It,
That's the
it
only
all
thing.
depends.
Obviously, if everyone knew that his situation,
Yeah.
for sure, but no one will know that.
Yeah.
That's
what?
tough.
I think
Like you were giving him empathy. Like obviously, man, the guy's got a family and stuff, but like you won't know, you will never know why he threw.
yeah, very very true. Until
That's
he
true,
just
and
comes
that's why
out.
these documentaries are amazing.
Yeah.
Are absolutely amazing. You could not even have any idea. Man, the media is so good.
Yeah,
They're
bro.
so good at covering stuff up. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. You have
No,
no
it's-
idea what's going on. in the
Yeah.
But
background.
I mean, I think also just quick point if it does come to that and players are getting to see like what their numbers are and like what people are betting, I think on another note would be they would just have to crack down a lot more.
That's what they're doing in the NIL, right? That's
Yeah,
what it
like,
is. Like if it's
So many investigations, like just undercover, just tapping in to see like what they're talking about, what's going on. But that might also mess up the game too. Who knows?
yeah, it sounds like basically the whole like, all right, I'm gonna give this to you, and if you can't handle it, then I'm taking it back.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, here's NIL, then you couldn't handle it, so we got to take it back a
You
a
think-
little
you
bit.
th-
A
I was
little
gonna say,
bit.
I was
No,
like,
you
it's
can't
kinda
take
like
it all the way
Pandora's
back.
box,
No,
you
that
know?
would be insane.
Yeah,
That-
that'd
I
be
feel like
crazy.
if they did that, everyone would just simultaneously quit college football.
Yeah.
And it'd just be weird. So like, I don't think or college like sports. I don't think because there's other avenues now.
Yeah.
So like,
You can go
it'd be a
overseas.
weird like just
There's no overseas
dart
football.
to it.
I mean,
That's true, but they
I
got
don't know if they-
USFL, dude. They got so many football
Yeah.
leagues now, though. But it would suck for those guys
I
because then
don't
they're
know.
taking all their jobs.
Partially, yes and no. That's a whole different story because then
just
you got
depends,
underage
bro.
people. You got 17-year-old guys playing against 28-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they're all
Football players
got to
go for 4 though. They're talking like 2021 by the time they come out.
Yeah, but if they have no NIL,
Because a lot of them go. Well, not a lot of them, but now probably a lot of them do
oh, they
go
go to
straight there.
junior. Yeah.
No, they go straight to USFL. Try to get drafted, don't get drafted, go to USFL. So they were gonna do it anyways.
right.
Just may speed it along.
Yeah, I was
by a year
thinking
or
like
two.
you going out of high school and you're like,
Oh no,
no.
no.
I don't think that.
Right. I was talking. I was
Gonna get
thinking more for
rocked.
the current. I was thinking
Yeah.
more for the current college athletes.
But all right,
Basketball.
Awesome
pretty
discussion.
good, pretty good discussion here. But let's wrap this up before we end the podcast. Where are we reading to next?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. What do we? going through?
Is it ended on 57? I think the next one.
So what was that? That was like I think it was like 50
Who would you-
pages.
57 pages? Holy
No, it was we started
moly.
on 8.
No. It was,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It started. Yeah.
Still
Sure.
low,
It
It
man.
was like 40.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
a,
no, that's about right. That's
it's
about
good.
right.
Yeah, it's good.
40
Chunk.
week.
It's over 200
Yeah.
pages.
What? So like 90 ish.
90 to
We would,
100
is
ish.
there a good break
I'm looking right now, but I don't see a perfect one
There's one on 108.
108.
because otherwise I'm looking at beating the odds, and that goes until beating the odds starts on 91. It goes until
Yeah, I'd say beating the odds. Yeah, is another one. 91 or 108.
Oh, I'm seeing 104. Oh, wait, never mind. That's still betting the odds. Beating the odds, isn't that
I feel like 108 would be like
the most natural one?
yeah, because I mean
That's
it's
a little
full
bit more.
break
That's
winner.
about 50 pages.
Yeah, it is.
Do we want to go? So we can go heavy or this? It looks like we're gonna have to make a choice for this or next week. So what are we feeling?
Fine with either.
Let's.
Wait, what was the other break was 98? You said.
No, 91.
Bro,
91.
honestly, how about this? I'm actually
Ooh,
supposed to
that's
have
a
some
good one.
friends flying to town this weekend, possibly.
Smart move.
Could we?
Wait,
po-
how do you not know?
Smart.
yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about this.
Smart move.
Honestly, I don't want to mess this up on the podcast. This is funny, Jared. If you see this will be real funny. Yeah, let's just go to page 90 if you guys.
There
cool
you
with
go.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm with you,
Okay.
bro.
All
I'm
right.
with you.
Page 90.
Cool.
We'll go there.
Beating the
All right.
odds.
Let's switch over to our short segments, short snippet sections. I don't even know what I'm calling this.
Our short segments. I
Short-
like-
Yeah, I mean
I
that
like
was
short
evidence. That was
segments.
evidence of based off your description of it.
All right. Our short segments for the day. We got fun facts. We got quote of the day, and we got what's yours now? What are you doing
Thought-provoking.
today?
This can be
Thought-provoking?
thought-provoking.
This
Yeah,
another
this is good though.
thought-provoker.
This is good. I'm excited for this.
Okay.
I-
Fun fact of the
Let's
day:
go. Let's go.
chocolate discharge. Fun fact of the day:
Yeah.
chocolate discharges the same chemical into your body that produces when you start falling in love.
Wow. Well, that makes sense now.
That's
Get
it.
her a box of chocolates.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense.
There
I
you
like
go.
it. That's good. I have another
Nice.
fun fact. So I was at the movies last night. They're making a documentary about the GameStop stock with
Oh,
Pete
yeah.
Davidson in it,
What?
and it's gonna be
With Pete Davidson in
it's
it?
gonna be freaking electric, bro. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah,
GameStop
we
was-
were
Oh yeah, Wall Street bets, man.
we were what days away from being millionaires because some people did it. It's gonna be crazy to watch like some of the breakdown of it. Go watch a trailer for it.
Yeah, and
It's-
they did
Yeah, I
it for
need to.
AMC
yo,
too.
I
Yeah,
think it has Matt
yeah.
Damon. I saw Pete Davidson, but
Well, yeah,
you just kind of
there's some there's some black market stuff going on after
Yeah.
that because Robinhood got forced to
Yeah,
shut down
They
this
had
trading.
to shut down the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and that's what we
remember
used. And
Yeah.
they wouldn't allow us to buy. Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah.
That's what we were trying to buy GameStop on. But sorry for hijacking that. But that's a good fun fact.
that. Bro, that's so crazy. Okay, so quote of the day. Unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved.
There you go.
I like that.
Shout out to you guys.
Hey man,
Plug that in there.
teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right, this one I'm super excited for. So I didn't actually write it down, but bro, I literally did not write it down, and I'm drawing a blank on my question. Okay.
Oh no!
Give
Yeah,
me
come
a
on,
second.
we'll
Where
think
did
about it.
what? Oh
Wow.
God, I got it.
There we go.
Dude, this is a great
go.
question. Thank you, Lord. That was so bad. I actually forgot it entirely. It's all back to me. Okay, this is gonna be a fun fact. This is gonna be a great question for you guys, but it's gonna be slightly different for each of you. Since we're opening up our book about sports betting, I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you a risky question and see what you guys would do if you had the chance. So for Miguel, you have a chance at a basketball challenge, right? You can shoot a layup, you get $50,000. You've been asked this question, but I just want to know. You've probably been asked it. Free throw for 100,000, 3-pointer for 500,000, or corner for 750.
Ooh, wee.
So you have to choose one of them. If you make your layup, safest one, 50K, bang. Free throw, feel good about it, 100K. Top key, 500K. Go to the corner, 750. You only
I
get one
think-
shot, all or nothing. Hey, you quit. All right,
I
hey,
think-
podcast almost over. What you got?
I think I'm gonna go with the free throw.
Go with the free throw. You
Yeah.
just take that 100K.
I think I'm
that's
gonna
enough?
just go with that. Yeah.
yeah.
Get the
Okay.
100K and flip it.
Okay, so for you, fastball,
Yeah.
500,000.
You just gotta throw it.
Fastball.
For a
sorry.
Gotta get the
Fastball
K.
for a strike,
Okay.
50,000, not 500. Fastball first strike, 50,000. Any other pitch, $1 million.
Oh,
Any other pitch.
Any other.
You think you'll locate it?
Yeah,
You trust it?
for sure.
Bro, that curveball is spiking straight to the dirt. You're bouncing that thing. You
That's
can be too
fine.
nervous. You're gonna grip that, dude. You trust your grip
Yeah.
on
For $1 million.
for